with another video. Wanted to share some information. There are times I like to just bring forward what's going on with the birth rates and drugs overdose percentages and different statistics that will give us information, because not often you come across information with ones who got the ink pen to write and set the narrative, that where they basically come either telling the truth or close, very close to the truth. So again, welcome family, blessings to you all, praises to the Most High, to Son Yeshua, Jesus Christ, and unto the Ruach, the Holy Spirit. So this is coming from WND. Immigration is not the answer to our low birth rate. And it speaks here that Ivanka Trump recently moderated an executive roundtable about how to help business in the United States. She and her father, President Trump, appeared on TV March the 7th with the members of the roundtable, and this including CEOs of Apple and IBM. At that session, several of the business executives asserted that their main obstacle to more business growth was a need for more qualified employees. Their request solution was to allow more green card and H-1B immigrants into the country. So is this code for Norway to come, ones, because they're not permitting and allowing other immigrants from Mexico, from other areas to come. But it was known and mentioned that, we'll welcome ones that qualify, or ones that far as if they do a checkoff list from different countries that, they're doing far as well with that they think they're doing well in their own countries. But this problem, you all, are hitting all the European countries and also Asia and America. They're sorry about that. My battery is low. Their birth rates ratio is very low compared to on the African continent. So when you line up, we are, as Hebrew Israelites, for those who follow me and ones, and we affiliated with and associated with, and where the ships came and took us from, was Africa. And so our people still there, our family, our kinfolks are still there. So the population is still growing. And like I shared last week, Niger was at 7.1 or either 7.5 for birth rates. You have to be at least 2.1 to be in a production, or producing, or producing, okay, not producing, but as far as reproduction, you have to be at least a 2.1. And I said that with the so-called African Americans that are here in America, we helping the Caucasian race out, along with the Hispanics as well. We're helping the Caucasian race to get, we're even at that 1.8. You understand what I'm saying? 1.8, and I think one report I saw, it was at 1.7. Remember, we will need to be at a 2.1. Okay, so when you're breaking it down, as I said, they're always going to make the Africans, the so-called Africans, so-called Negroes, so-called African Americans, and blacks, look as though we are either close to them in numbers, either the bottom of them are very not far from where they're at. And it's a lie. I mean, when you look at these numbers, you're going to see where this falls. But I'll break it down as my what I've been finding in my, what I'm far as thinking and along the way, because they're not going to give our prompts. They even put us to whereas they don't say, far as, when it comes to providing, far as the different nationalities, far as Hispanics, they compare themselves against the Hispanics, not us, not blacks, not so-called blacks, not so-called African Americans or Negroes. They call themselves non-whites. They call the Hispanics non-whites. They don't call, say, the non-whites or non-blacks. They say non-Hispanics for representing when they are in a percentage rate or ranking when you're giving them far as setting the tone to give a description or information about them. Okay. Wow, I got it all out. It's so much. My brain is moving and spinning so quick. Okay, so as you go down here, it says that's what they're, as far as the green card, and also for the H-1B, which, of course, that's saying that they'll come in the correct way. They won't come in through the borders. They'll come through by filling out, the appropriate information to get in an approved way before they even come, instead of coming through the solemn type of format. Okay, that is the worst thing that the nation could do to address this need for more workers. This is what this author is saying. Why is America suffering from not enough available workers? Simple. For the last half century, the United States suffered from too few births to American citizens. Today, the birth rate in the U.S. is 1.7 per woman. So I had actually said 1.8, but it's actually 1.7 according to this latest report. While at least 2.1 is needed just to sustain the population, not enough births are occurring to replace those people who age and die. And when you look at the percentage far as when it comes to America, there's so much older people from anywhere in their 60s and to 90s. And on the tail end, far as the younger generation, there are not that many people are being born. And once the older generation, like from the 60s over to the 90s, once they die, then what we actually going to have for America? So let's continue. Not enough births are occurring to replace those people who age and die. Of that 1.7, white women are at 0.9. Y'all, this is the first time this have ever been shown that I've seen that they've actually either telling the truth or close to the truth. 0.9, while blacks are above at 2.0. So even though our numbers could be at 2.7, 2.14, or 3, they're not going to give us that. But they knew, well, let's just make sure we get it close to what we know. We're not going to give them 2.1 or above. We're going to give them 2.0. But that speaks volume. Blacks, that speaks volume against what you would say a white woman. 0.9. That speaks volume. Said all the growth to the United States population is from immigrants with birth rates well above 3.0. Canada, Europe, Japan, China, and Russia all suffer from the same problem. Birth rates that are too low. This problem is so bad for the white women throughout the world that the population of Caucasians dropped from 900 million, a quarter of world population, to 700 million, 10% of the world population. So get this, because when I first read it, I said, well, it's just the white women, but it's actually the Caucasian race, period. When you read it, this problem is so bad for white women throughout the world that the population of Caucasians, that's speaking of all of them, dropped from 900 million to 700 million. So get this, all this what's being planned to depopulate the earth. Really? Now, one may say, well, this is a plague. This is the almighty way of showing, that all the things they have done to the so-called blacks, all over this lifespan of, ones coming as slaves being treated, and just, just throughout Jim Crow, throughout, still to this day, someone of the Hebrew brother just got hung. Just last week, I want to say. And all the other things that are happening. So this world is 7 billion people. And 7+ billion people. So you're saying that the Caucasian race is only 700 million. Now, am I seeing this wrong? Because what equates or, make up that Caucasian race? Think about it, everybody. So again, they're so worried about, and want to show their power through the ink pen and through the narrative as far as news or articles or whatever, that we're going to rise up and retaliate. But this has got to be, and I know the Almighty not allowing, but lining it up to whereas this is a part of the affliction, the servitude, the curse that was placed upon us for us to be in the mindset. It's not about us taking revenge. It's nothing that we will do and have to do, because he's going to take care of all who have had vengeance against us. He said vengeance is his. While the total world population double in size, at this rate, the worldwide population will shrink to 500 million. Now, in America, if you separate them according to which country they're from, Germany, and then they say blacks will come in under, because they have kept us around 13% for the last 40 years, just well to say. How could we be people that actually only 13% when our kin folks in Africa, they're at 7.1, and 30%, 30 countries that make up the whole world stage is of Africa with their high percentage in, high above 2.1 and higher. And like I say, Niger is actually 7.5. It says here that while the world population increases to 10 billion from the current 7.5. So what's happening, family? What's happening, world? And if anyone come on that you're Caucasian, and I pray you don't take this the wrong way, but this is a time to get closer with our Creator, because it's more deaths than births. And they even try to say, well, the blacks ain't far from, they under 2, but we connected back with Africa in other places where those slave ships went. And that means everywhere that those slave ships went, and back in Africa, we're the one making up the population of the whole world. And you could take it and say, well, then why y'all not that powerful? Why y'all not powerful enough? Because the Almighty, God Almighty, his hands is in this. And when this thing become fully in reverse, ain't about we taking advantage or, putting you and treating you any kind of way. It's about that we're going to be in the kingdom when we already know that we're going to be rulers. He's going to make the tail the head again. We already know that. And he's not going to allow us to treat anybody any kind of way. But this is deep. This is the time that all mankind to know and see that, through opioids, through other overdoses, through diseases that coming out of nowhere. They don't even have the name to some of these diseases. It's similar to a disease that was back in the day, but they said, no, it's still not the same disease. Through the epidemics of the mumps and the measles and I want to say the chicken pox and all kind of things that just popping up. But they want to do away with and down, size the population by given different things far as to kill off the population, exterminate. They, oh, we're gonna, do this because we want this down to this actual amount of people. We'll feel comfortable with that, this amount of people. But the truth is told is that the Almighty already know their plans. He already know their thoughts. And if this is the way that the Almighty is dealing with them, I mean, to be told, the truth be told, people need to wake up. They need to wake up. So I will share this link, sisters and brothers. But, like I said, Russia and Japan and Germany, all of them experiencing the same thing. And you should see through these statistics reports that they're trying to pay people in their different countries to have kids, and they're not fertile. It's not that they don't want to have it because, we so focused on our jobs and our businesses and no, it's not fertile. They're not producing. This should make anybody who listened to me, and I know I took a while to get into this, but to wake up. This is real deal. Real deal. And they said, this has been going on for almost 40 years. So imagine if America is not here. I'm sorry. Imagine if the, when we get pulled out and we get in this a second Exodus, and just say that, if we just leave, where would America be? And then Trump is still fighting people to come into the borders, and they don't want, the Mexicans to come in. They don't want, other areas to come in because, now they're even talking about closing down the border this weekend or something like that. I don't know if it's going to happen, but this should wake any and everybody up. Get close to our Creator. Get our lives in order, on track, because something is big going to happen. And this is a sign that we are in a time where there's nothing that we're doing against them as, so-called blacks to have this to happen. This is internal. This is only God has control. And for any, so-called black people, Hebrew Israelites and ones and others to talk or laugh or say good for them, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not nice. The Almighty don't want us to have malice. He said vengeance is his. This is for the pure mere fact for me to bring it to you, also you can see it on this level and understand the severity that how we need to get close to our Creator. Put him first. Seek him. No matter what race you are. Understand this truth. And seek him to what has happened, because this has never happened before. But this is all surrounding us going into our 400-year mark that we say, but they know more. It's so much got to do with a whole lot that we're beginning to see things, how close we are getting to what these prophecies just, coming in, in fulfillment. Again, I don't wish nothing bad on anybody. I want the best for all mankind. But my people, my brothers and sisters, have been treated unfairly, and what some say, well, the Almighty said for this that was going to happen, but they're ones that took it to levels that they shouldn't have. So I'm not hating on nobody. I'm not going to hate nobody. But I tell you this, get your heart right. You're so busy trying to say we make America great. It ain't about that. America without us here and the Hispanics here, that tells you where your actually percentage will be. We're helping. We're helping. Anywhere those slave ships went, we're helping. We, according to the prophecy that was given to Abraham, that his seed, there will be many nations that will come from him. And all these, where these slave ships at, these are many nations. And that his seed, if you put sand in your hand, Abraham, when the sand seep out, each speck is how much and many of your loins will come from your loins. So we the blessings of Abraham. of many nations. He's not the father of all nations. It says many nations. I hope you get that. I hope you understand that. Okay, may come back on a little later as I'm led to share about the opioid epidemic. We're saying that it's showing in around the whole world. The United States has the worst rate of overdose death. I can't even talk today. That many people are dying more in America than any place else. Okay, family, this is all I want to share. So just pray for all those who are not saved, who don't know the Almighty, Yeshua, get close, repent, visit Romans 10 and 9, and read from 9 through the 13th. Ask the Almighty to lead and guide your day to day, what He wants you to do. Family, I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. I love all mankind. I want the best for all mankind. But I know that there are ones that don't love us as the Hebrew Israelites because that we are the chosen. And those people who don't, they're working from a place as a pawn from Satan, Lucifer. And it's not my place to dislike or hate anyone. The Almighty says, the Most High says, vengeance is His. He sits high and He looks low. He knew what they were planning way before He know what they're planning now. Is nothing getting by Him. So everybody need to wake up and know what time it is. Shalom, family.